WrestleRanters, to the 98th edition of WrestleRant, here today with your host with the most, Bleacher Report feature Columnist Level 3, Graham GSM Matthews. Now, usually I go down Raw each week in review, breaking down every segment, every match, every promo on the show. However, this week with the WWE 2012 Slammy Awards, that's not going to be the case. Quite honestly, the show is one big mess of shit, of fucking awesomeness. And I mean, I'll go into detail in a minute, but there was no really agenda on this show. They were just kind of throwing shit at you, see what sticks on the wall. There were fucking awesome moments, and there was terrible shit. That's what my main observation was coming out of the show. There was either a feeling once the show ended, you either loved this show, you fucking loved it, you wanted to watch it again like I did on DVD, or you were just like, wow, that was fucking garbage, I don't want to see another episode of Raw for the rest of the year. Now, I can completely understand that with the matches like David Otunga versus The Great Khali, which was garbage. We got Kofi versus Tensai, which lasted a mere minute, and many other meaningless matches that added nothing to the show whatsoever. However, all the fucking returns that we saw at the Slammy Awards last night were amazing. Throw in the fact that this was a hot crowd from Philly, this is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Quite honestly, if you saw my previous video that aired just before the title of this latest WrestleRant video, you'd see that the Nature Boy, God himself, Ric Flair, has returned for the first time to WWE since 2009. And I'm not talking about the bullshit 5-minute thing that he had at the Hall of Fame earlier this year. I'm talking about on Monday Night Raw, bitches. Ric Flair, and of course I'm swearing so much because I was marking the hell out last night on Twitter when I saw all these returns of boom, 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 like 5,000 of them on last night's show. Now, I said going into the show, the Slammy Awards is not for everybody. The Slammy Awards, the nominees themselves, are usually shit. There were a lot of nominees that were on the Tonight Show, or last night's show, I should say. All the wrong people won for the most part. They usually do. However, that's not what really I like about this show, or the concept itself. I like the idea, the concept of all the returns that we get every year. Since 2010, I believe at the earliest, we've gotten a lot of cool moments at the Slammy Awards each and every year. And especially last year with the return of Masked Kane, Rey Mysterio, Lita, Road Dogg, a lot of Goldust, a lot of awesome familiar faces, a lot of nostalgic moments that I really enjoyed seeing last year. This year, they took it up a notch. We saw the returns of Ric fucking Flair, for one thing, a guy that was rumored not to be coming back due to the legal dispute with TNA, so I don't know what's up with that. We saw the return of Tommy Dreamer. Now, those of you that would know that I posted my video numerous times with Tommy Dreamer, I met this guy a handful of times at Northeast Wrestling shows, an independent organization up here in the Northeast. Very cool guy. I'm very friendly with him. I was marking the hell out when Miz introduced him as their 6 tag team partner with him and Del Rio versus a 3MB in a 6-man tag team match. An absolutely great match, and I know it's kind of weird to say that the match tonight was a match involving 3MB, but Miz, Del Rio, and especially Dreamer brought this to a great match. The live crowd loved it. First time that Dreamer's been seen since being retired by Zack Ryder on I believe the final edition of ECW in 2009. So that was really cool as well to see Tommy Dreamer. Also, another brief return that we saw, the Boogeyman at the first award at the top of the hour. We saw Booker T present an award for, I believe it was, can't believe I just did not just see that, or something along those lines. And the Boogeyman came out before he even presented the award. And then they went to commercial break, and he wasn't there when they came back. But even still, I was marking the hell out for that. Again, Boogeyman, a guy that I wanted to return on the Halloween edition of Raw back last year, did not happen. But I was really, really happy to see the Boogeyman back on Monday Night Raw this past week. But so I was extremely excited for that. But we also saw the return of Road Dogg and Billy Gunn in a collective DX reunion kind of thing. Presenting an award, which is pretty cool. Not all that memorable, not as cool as the Raw 1000 reunion, obviously, but even still, it was a cool moment. But as I said before, there were a lot of moments in this show that I was like, wow, this is fucking bullshit. Especially one where it started it was about a half an hour segment. There were 2 parts of the show that I really did not like. First part came when they presented Superstar of the Year. Now, they had Khali versus Otunga, and after that match ended, and nearly a minute into it, they announced that up next, after the commercial break, they'd be going into Superstar of the Year presentation. And they said we're going to be having a special special guest host for this award. And they go, woo! And you hear Ric Flair's voice, and I was like, what the fuck was that? So they come back from commercial, They introduced Ric Flair, ginormous pop from the Philly crowd. Again, a hardcore country for wrestling, so I was really happy to see them being in a live crowd. If they were in like fucking Washington D.C. or something like this show would have been shit, or even more shit than more people would have thought. But even still, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that the returns would have fell flat. So I'm glad they were in Philly here. But with that being said, so Ric Flair comes out, presents the award, gives it to John Cena. John Cena. Again, John Cena. The only accomplishment that he's gotten this year is getting his sorry ass divorced. You may argue that winning the Raw Money in the Bank ladder match back in July may have been a career highlight, but how long did he hold that for? What was that? 8 days? Yeah, and he failed to capture the championship at Raw 1000. Yeah, John Cena 2012, not a good mix. Been a terrible year for John Cena, so I honestly do not see how he won this award. I don't even remember the other nominees, quite honestly, besides CM Punk, who fucking should have won this, who's been champion since last year's Slammy Awards, but as we all know, they were voting on this iPad shit. I don't have the iPad. I don't have an iPhone 5, so I was unable to vote. And they were shoving that down our throats the entire night through. That was something I found really annoying. But I don't know why they just didn't do it on WWE.com or something like that. But that aside, I don't know if these awards are rigged or whatever, but that was just really, really stupid, obviously. That aside, moving on, he presents the award to John Cena. Cena says he doesn't deserve it. God fucking yes, he doesn't deserve it. Ric Flair, he gives it off to Ric Flair. Cena walks off. Okay. Ric Flair hasn't been in WWE for the past 4 years, so I don't know how he deserved that. But even still, I love Ric Flair. No disrespect to him. The guy's fucking amazing. I loved his work in TNA. Really glad to see him back in WWE. But so CM Punk comes out, interrupts Ric Flair about a minute into it. Huge pop for Punk. Starts going down how Cena doesn't deserve it, Ric Flair doesn't deserve it, say how it's clobbering time. Amazing promo. I loved it. Hilarious shit. But yeah, CM Punk should deserve this. CM Punk should have gotten this award. He's been champion since last year's event. But that aside, it's a Slammy Award, people. They are these Slammy Awards. They aren't the Grammys, they aren't the Oscars, they aren't the Emmys, or whatever hell their other award ceremonies are these days. I don't watch any of them, so I don't really care. But yeah, it's rigged, it's wrestling, who gives a shit? I mean, it wasn't really about the awards on the show. Again, the only real awards that were really prestigious on the show were the match of the year that was won by Triple H vs. Undertaker at Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. CM Punk vs. D-Bride, I'm not saying it should have won it, but it should have been a nomination, or a Punk vs. Jericho match. That aside, I was really glad that the Triple H and Undertaker match won it. And Triple H, he returned as well, got a big pop in the crowd. Was saying he had a solid promo and said that Undertaker would be back sooner rather than later, or he will be back eventually. So that was pretty cool, and that was a nice moment. I appreciated that Triple H put some, put some prestige into this award ceremony, because everything else was complete shit. So that aside, well, I mean, we had fucking Kiss of the Year with AJ. I mean, really, that's bullshit. I love AJ, but Kiss of the Year, really? That's garbage. That's something that we should have seen on WWE.com. Maybe Diva of the Year on the actual ceremony. But I'm getting way off topic here, going way off on a tangent. Now back to the John Cena Ric Flair thing. So Punk, Ric Flair, then Punk says that he can kick Ric Flair's ass. Ric Flair says, yeah, sure, let's get it on right now. Ric Flair goes over to the ring, takes off his jacket, vintage TNA style, to have a heart attack. Ric Flair, or CM Punk makes his way down to the ring. They go to commercial break. They come back. CM Punk's beating up on Ric Flair. Ric Flair reversals, beats up on CM Punk, tosses him out of the ring. Plus a figure 4 leg lock to Paul Heyman in the ring. Like, what the fuck is going on by this point? I'm like, what the fuck am I witnessing at this very moment? So that's happening. Ric Flair celebrates for a brief moment. Then the Shield comes out. The Shield comes out, and as they're making their way down to the ring, they go to another commercial. So a third commercial in the course of like 15 minutes. Now, not as annoying as commercials are, I mean, it built suspense. It's a smart thing on WWE's part. They're obviously desperate as hell for ratings. So they're like, oh, fucking God, we got to take all these hooks that we can get. So I appreciate, and I think it's a smart move, that they're trying to bring in all these nice hooks to keep fans suspense. Because, quite honestly, the ratings at the moment are in the shitter. So I think it's a great move to have, these numerous hooks before they go to commercial. So when they come back from commercial, the Shield's about to attack Ric Flair, and they do. But when we get back from commercial, we see Daniel Bryan, Ryback, Kane attacking the Shield, all going at it, and they're about to take Ric Flair. Or I'm sorry, it was just Team Hell No at this point. So they take out Team Hell No. They're about to put Ric Flair through a table, and then Ryback comes out. Ryback comes out, destroys the Shield, and saves Ric Flair, and they're all in the ring, you know, just celebrating and whatnot. So that thing went on for like a half an hour, and that was like the craziest fucking booking I've ever seen in my entire life. Not saying it was bad at all. I was like, just by the end, I was like, what the hell did I just witness? And I gotta appreciate WWE for that. We haven't seen something like this in years. Something like a non-stop segment that was continuously entertaining throughout. That was booked brilliantly and perfectly. So that was amazing. That was obviously the highlight of the show. But another thing that I really hated about the show. Now, I'm not saying I hated that part. I'm saying that I hated that John Cena won Superstar of the Year. That was my major gripe with the show. The other major gripe, other than the whole segment that I loved, Ric Flair, that was a highlight of the show. It also included the downhill of the show, down point of the show, with Superstar of the Year going to John Cena. But going on, we had another major gripe in the show for me, was when Dolph Ziggler was cashing in Money in the Bank on Big Show after he was attacked by Sheamus. And again, please do not continue the Sheamus versus Big Show feud going into Royal Rumble. We've seen 3 matches from that already. Again, I love their matches. They've had a great feud. Just end it where it was. It was a perfect way to end it. I just have a feeling they might continue it for the end of the year, not going to the Royal Rumble, because they have about 6 weeks until the Royal Rumble. So that's understandable. But Ziggler is about to cash in. Cena stops him from doing it. Why is he stopping Ziggler from cashing in Money in the Bank? He's a face. He is a face stopping a heel from cashing Money in the Bank. Dolph Ziggler defeated John Cena on TLC rather. Ziggler didn't do anything. It was all AJ's fault. So I don't know why the hell he's pissed at Ziggler. I don't know why he's taking his frustration out on Ziggler. It was a stupid move. Obviously, it was a nice teaser for when Ziggler eventually does cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase, but I don't know. I just thought it was a crazy-ass book, and it even put even more heat on Cena going in for the rest of the night. So it was like a heel-turn John Cena kind of night for him. But then we get to the main event. John Cena and Vicky Guerrero versus Dolph Ziggler and AJ. I don't know what the hell that was about. I mean, Dolph Ziggler and AJ, a cute couple, brilliant couple that should have happened since the beginning, or from the beginning. Cena and Vicky, I don't know what that was about. But anyway, we go on. Match lasts about 5 minutes because it started at like 11 o'clock Eastern time. And we get to the end of the show, and then AJ and Vicky brawl off. They go off the screen. We leave it with Cena and Ziggler in the ring. AJ comes back to the ring with Big E Langston. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, Big E Langston was from NXT, or is from NXT, the current or new NXT champion. So I don't know why they're having the NXT champion come up here. I'd much rather would have seen Bray Wyatt, you know, the artist formerly known as Husky Harris. But even still, Big E Langston, very impressive dude, very over in NXT from what I hear. I no longer watch it, so I wouldn't know. But I am familiar with him. I was marking hell out for that. He attacks John Cena, and then we end the show there with AJ skipping around with Let's Light It Up, hitting the arena. Now, wow. My reaction, my initial reaction after watching the show, just wow. That was one hell of a show from WWE. I did not see that coming whatsoever. So kudos to them. Probably the best Slammy Awards that we've ever seen. Again, it was either a love-hate show, or you love this show or you hate this show. I loved it. I love the returns, probably the most I've marked out for a Raw in quite some time. One of the best Raws of the year. From an in-ring action standpoint, this show was terrible. But as far as returns go, with the noteworthy shit happening, that was amazing. Again, the Slammy Awards are meaningless. But the Triple H Award was a nice touch, but shit was completely meaningless and pointless. But the returns, if you did not watch this Raw, go back and watch it just for the returns. I love that. I love nostalgic stuff, especially with guys I am familiar with. We also saw returns from Gene Mean Okerlund, Ricky Steamboat, and JR as well, so that was pretty cool. But overall, a really cool, noteworthy Raw, and probably the best way to close out 2012, because their New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve shows probably won't be anything monumental. So thanks, guys, for watching. This is GSM, signing out. Till next time, guys.